Welcome back to the workshop, everybody. Walter here at the workbench. I am so excited that you could be with me today. So you're doing a project and you've jointed a board, you've thicknessed it, but what about the end grain? Well, couple different ways to address that. This is a simple shooting board I have here. First thing I do is to relieve the one corner. Okay? Took a little tiny corner off of there. Come back in here. And you shave the end grain. Now, there's a couple reasons why you'd be doing this. Here's the shaving from the end grain. I don't know if you can see that. Sometimes what you're trying to do is establish a perfect 90 degree. And this is one way to do it. Other times you're going to have your end grain showing. So you want that to be crisp and clean. Regardless of your reason, this is one way to do it. Okay, so you don't have a shooting board. I understand. Well, hope you can see this. Once again, lightly relieve the outside corner. And take a block plane. Here we go. This is my Lie-Nielsen 60.5. It can be a Stanley 60.5. It can be any low angle plane that you have. This happens to be bevel up, so you're getting about 37 degrees of effective cutting angle. So this is your sawn edge. All right, you just cut the board with a saw and you need to clean it up. My vise is not holding the way it should. So there you go. A few swipes. Some ultra thin shavings, and your end grain is nice and clean. You need to take the corners off a little. 45, 45. There you go. Now, that could be left visible. That can be hidden in a dado joint where it's in a cabinet. But you've created a nice smooth square edge. So, regardless of which plane you use, you can create nice, clean, end grain shavings. The block plane can also be used on its side. It's big enough to use it as an end grain plane with a shooting board. Okay? It all depends on the thickness of your stock. So here, my shooting board is thick enough that it gets me above the edge of the plane. Then there's the cut, and then there's still extra blade. Now, on my workbench, I laid down a piece of paper. I just don't want the metal rubbing on my workbench. Someday I need to build an official planing shooting board where the plane rests in a channel. But this will work. Okay? A little over 1,000 thick. Clean, planed end grain. Now that brings up a topic. When you're identifying wood, it's important to have pictures of the face grain. In this case, it's the edge grain because this is a quarter sawn board. The quarter sawn grain, but almost more importantly, is the end grain. Most of your tree identification is done by the cell structure visible by an end grain that was shaved by a razor sharp plane. So that's about it. Planing end grain. Which plane do you need? You can do it with a low angle plane. You can do it with a standard 45-degree bedrock style plane. Doesn't matter. They'll all work. The key is keeping your blade razor sharp. Okay? One other tip. Everyone talks, and actually sometimes people scream, about how important it is that the sides of your plane, the cheeks, be 100% square to the sole so that you can shoot with them. And by the way, that's spelled C-H-U-T-E, not S-H-O-O-T. It's a shooting board. Well, the reality is you have a lateral adjuster. So if I put this plane here and I take a few cuts and it's not 100% square, I can adjust the lateral up or down and move this blade ever so slightly in or out, squaring that up dead to my shooting board. Got that? Okay. The other thing is when planing by hand, you will have scribed lines, most likely even with a razor knife, a knife to keep your edge where you want it. So when it comes to planing end grain, this vise is not behaving itself. When it comes to planing end grain, you're only going to plane to that line anyway. So, no shooting board, no problem. You've got a low angle block plane, you can plane your end grain. There are so many solutions to the same challenge, and that's what I love about woodworking. I'm presenting things here to you to share what I know, but as many woodworkers as there are, or as there have been, there's probably another dozen times that many solutions to problems. Sometimes it's based on economics, the tools you have, the material you have. Sometimes it has to do with physical abilities. Some people don't have the same dexterity, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But that's about it for today. Shooting endgrain. What do you think? No sandpaper can do that. Only a plane can do that. Well, in closing, if anybody knows somebody at Woodcraft, I have not been able to do much in regards to testing or reviewing Woodcraft Wood River planes. I don't have a need to go out and buy them. I have my Stanleys. But if anybody has a contact at Woodcraft and would like to have me bring their planes in here, test them, review them, show their features, advantages, and benefits, I'd be happy to do that. So let them know, have them contact me. In the meantime, I want to thank you for stopping by today, and I hope that I brought something to light that helps you, that at least clarifies a question. So if you find something beneficial, give it the old thumbs up. If not, if it was entertaining, give it the old thumbs up and subscribe so we can stay in touch. And if you feel so led, click that little button. I think it's up over on that part of the screen over here. It says donate to channel. That will show me your support. And I like to have a cup of coffee in the morning. And it's always good to have a nice sandwich or a piece of cheese in the afternoon. Head out to your shop. Go make some shavings. Walter out.